In a quiet corner of town, shrouded in a thick blanket of fog, lay an abandoned playground. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a soft orange light that seemed to struggle against the encroaching darkness. The atmosphere was heavy, thick with the kind of silence that made every lingering sound, a distant creak, the rustle of leaves, feel amplified. There was something unsettling about this place, a sense of whispers carried by the fog, as if the ghosts of laughter and play clung to the rusted swings. The playground itself told a story of faded joy. The once vibrant colors of the equipment had dulled over time, giving way to layers of rust and the unmistakable signs of neglect. A set of swings hung motionless at first, but as the moments passed, they began to sway gently, as if nudged by unseen hands. Their creaking echoed in the stillness, forming a haunting symphony in the eerie twilight. The barren trees surrounding the playground stood as silent sentinels, their stark branches reaching out like bony fingers into the mist. Among this desolation was a small child, standing timidly behind the swings. Their bright red coat stood out vividly against the muted hues of the rusting playground, almost as if it were an invitation amidst the fear. The child's wide eyes were filled with uncertainty, darting around as they took in the surroundings. Every slight movement of the fog sent shivers down their spine, and they instinctively clutched their arms close to their body, a defensive gesture against the chill creeping into their soul. Then, as if summoned by an unseen force, shadows began to dance within the fog. Each shape was vaguely human-like, resembling children at play, laughing and running, yet they were mere echoes of what once was. The child's heart raced, each pulse echoing around the eerie silence. The shadows swirled and twirled, their playful gestures strangely unnerving. The child felt both drawn to and repelled by the fleeting shapes. Witnessing joy turned ghostly in the ethereal fog. Conflicted emotions swirled in the child's mind. Memories of laughter, sunlit days, and carefree moments at the playground danced alongside an emerging fear rooted in the present. They thought of the times spent in this very space, where happiness flowed like the breeze that now eluded them. Yet now, standing amidst the shadows, the playground seemed less like a sanctuary of childhood and more like a mausoleum of memories best forgotten. Tentatively, the child stepped closer to the swings, feeling an inexplicable pull toward them. They wanted to touch the cold, rusty chains swaying in the ghostly winds. As they moved forward, glancing back and forth, their feet crunched against the brittle grass. But then they spotted something partly buried in the dirt. A small, worn teddy bear, its button eyes gleaming faintly in the sunset light. A thrill of recognition shot through them, but with it came an awful realization. This playground was not merely abandoned. It once thrived with life, laughter, and the innocent joy of children, none of whom could be seen anymore. The moment that bear touched the child's tiny hand, the shadows began to swirl around them faster, more urgently. It was as if the ghosts of the past had awoken, no longer playful, but instead restless, yearning for recognition. The air turned electric, and the once soft sounds of the swings creaked louder, now mixed with ghostly laughter echoing through the fog. The child's entire being screamed to flee, yet they clutched the teddy bear tighter, feeling an inexplicable bond form with the haunting echoes surrounding them. In a rush of cold air, the shadows swirled menacingly closer. The playground came alive in a way that was both exhilarating and terrifying. The child, filled with panic, began to understand that they were not merely bearing witness to a haunting. They were part of a tragic scene repeating itself endlessly. Whispers of bygone days filled the air. The joy of childlike laughter warped into something unsettling as the swings picked up their rhythmic dance, creaking under phantom weight. Overwhelmed with emotion, the child dropped the teddy bear, a final act of defiance against the calling shadows. As it hit the ground, the laughter turned into sinister whispers, and the atmosphere shifted abruptly, like a spell breaking. The fog started to thicken around them, whirling and swirling as if in turmoil. In that moment, the child felt a pang of sorrow for the lost echoes of joy they had just encountered. Rushing from the playground, the fading sounds of laughter ringing in their ears. As the fog began to lift, leaving behind an empty playground, one thing remained clear. This space, once bubbling with life and memories, now stood as a haunting reminder of the innocence that had faded away. The child ran, looking back only briefly, knowing they would carry with them the weight of that haunting encounter forever.